What's up, everyone? It's the Autistic Scyther here, and I'm back with another top 10 countdown, this time involving another one of the many consoles I've basically played through. Or different consoles when you think about it. And one of the more notable ones, since I did the ones for Nintendo Switch and the 3DS, is the Nintendo GameCube. A console that I had ever since I was a kid, and I still have to this day. Which, in all fairness, really does say a lot. So, I've played a good amount of GameCube games. So, basically, it makes sense I go through my top 10 favorite Nintendo GameCube games. Now, keep in mind, I've not played through all of them. And some of them I've had to emulate. Granted, I don't condone piracy, but in all fairness, yeah, when it comes down to it, some things have to be done. That being said, makes sense I'm going to do this. And now it's time to count down my top 10 favorite Nintendo GameCube games. In this case, in my opinion. So, yeah. I know my opinion will be different than everyone else's, so that really does say a lot. So without further ado, let's get started. Starting off at number 10, we have Skies of Arcadia Legends. Honestly, this one is kind of an interesting one. And the fact when you realize that this is ironically one of two games that first released on a different system before the Nintendo game ended up in the GameCube, yeah, it really does say a lot. And this is one of the games I've actually emulated because I actually got interested in Skies of Arcadia Legends from the Green Scorpions list several of the Green Scorpions lists. And honestly, even though I've played a good amount of it, this one actually is one of the most interesting games I've ever seen. Mainly due to the fact that it's about sky pirates, basically. And honestly, when it comes down to it, pirates are kind of interesting to say the least. Granted, that being said, even though I don't condone piracy. But that being said, the trope of the sky pirate is interesting due to the fact that, well, in all fairness, it's a pirate that roams the skies and mostly doing things for plunder. But when you consider the main characters, Vice and Aika, as well as Fina being the more noble sky pirates, really does say a lot. Granted, yeah, certain things make it hard to go back to playing through the game, but hopefully I'll find some way to play the actual game soon enough. And that really does say a lot that I'm talking about the version for the GameCube and not the one for the Dreamcast, since I don't think I know anyone who has that game for the Dreamcast, so yeah, that really says a lot. Moving on next at number 9, we have Pikmin 2. Speaking of which, another game that I was kind of introduced to from a YouTuber, but I've never played through Pikmin 2 myself. In fact, out of the Pikmin franchise, the only game I've played through was Pikmin 1. So, knowing how I was when I was younger, I couldn't wrap my head around the main concept of the game, so I dropped it very quickly. But, that being said, it wasn't until I saw Chugga Conroy's Let's Play of Pikmin 2 that I actually got a little interested in. And the fact that it's continuation of the first Pikmin game where they head back to the planet, where Olimar heads back to the planet alongside his co-pilot Louie in order to basically find treasures from that planet in order to pay off a debt, really does say a lot. And also, a lot of Chugga's brand of humor shows through entirely in that game. Which, honestly, there are a lot of moments that ended up getting me laughing no matter what. And I was mostly on the edge of my seat watching his playthrough. I mean, heck, thanks to his playthroughs of both Pikmin 2 and Pikmin 3, as well as the good reviews that Pikmin 4 got, it kinda gave me an idea to find some way to get back to playing through the first Pikmin game. And maybe I'll do more than go further than I did further than I did when I was younger. Here's hoping, because I'm not confident at all. Moving on next, at number 8, we have Mega Man Anniversary Collection. Remember I mentioned about how Skies of Arcadia Legends first got started on Sega Dreamcast before the GameCube? Well, the only other one that I like that's on the GameCube is the Mega Man Anniversary Collection. And this really says a lot because the fact that it has the first 8 Mega Man titles of the classic Mega Man franchise, plus the 2 fighting games, all in one collection, was kind of my first exposure to the Mega Man franchise, since I did not have an SNES or a PlayStation 1 at all when I was a kid. In fact, my first ones were the Game Boy Classic, Game Boy Color, and N64, so yeah. But that being said, almost very much instantly, I found myself playing through a good amount of Mega Man the games in the Mega Man Anniversary Collection. And I found myself playing through a lot of games I considered as my favorite, with those including like Mega Man 8, Mega Man 6, and heck, even Mega Man 4 and 1, which really does say a lot. That being said, I haven't played through all of the Mega Man titles, like, fully. In fact, the most I've played through of 2, I didn't get that far, and when I got my iPod Touch for the first time, I had a arcade version of Mega Man 2 that involved Woodman's level, and yeah, it was just Woodman's level, so yeah. Honestly, in all fairness, it kind of makes me realize that I need to find some way to get back to this title. And I think with the classic Mega Man Legacy Collection being on Switch, would be a perfect way for me to get back to it. Particularly when you consider there is a marathon I'm going to be doing of the entire classic Mega Man franchise. And, well, it kinda means I'm gonna have to play through that anyway, so wish me luck. Moving on next, at number 7, we have Super Mario Sunshine. Honestly, this was one of the first games I actually got for the GameCube besides Pikmin. And keep in mind here, I didn't get back to playing through Super Mario Sunshine ever since I until I got Super Mario 3D All-Stars. And that really says a lot because I enjoyed Super Mario Sunshine as a whole when I had that game. Because, well, starting off since my first Mario game that I ever got was Super Mario Land, I was more so I was more so kind of interested and knowledgeable of the platforming tactics of the platforming side of Mario, which kind of extended to the likes of Super Mario 64 and Super Mario Advance 4, Super Mario Bros. 3. So Super Mario Sunshine was kind of a new endeavor, and the fact that I basically ended up using FLUDD, I could basically have Mario uses FLUDD for most platforming. It's really enjoyable when you think about it. And it comes up with some interesting ways of basically being able to use them in different aspects. And for most of Super Mario Sunshine, I enjoyed every aspect of going through different locations, from the main hub of Delfino Island to the rolling Bianco Hills, to the more industrial Rico Harbor, which is one of my favorite levels now that I think about it. And heck, even the likes of Pina Park and Noki Beach, which are kind of fun to say the least. Granted, I didn't get too far for Super Mario Sunshine of the GameCube, and even with that, it wasn't until Super Mario 3D All-Stars that I get pretty further into Super Mario Sunshine. And yes, it includes Hotel Delfino and the one known as Phantom Manta, which the fact that I got to endure that really says a lot. So yeah. Oh boy! If you hadn't guessed, a lot of these games are just efforts of me just wanting to play through them. Some even more so than I was when I was a kid. Yeah, it really does say a lot. So yeah. Moving on next at number 6, we have Mario Kart Double Dash. Yet another Mario Kart game, and as I've mentioned before, I've had an interesting relationship with the Mario Kart franchise. And the fact that 8 Deluxe and 7 were my favorites on the Switch and 3DS, yeah, you knew I would basically say something involving Double Dash. And the fact that I played through Mario Kart before getting Double Dash, I played through Mario Kart 64, a copy of Mario Kart 64 that I borrowed from my cousins on my N64. When I was younger me was kind of excited to see where they were going to go for Mario Kart Double Dash. And honestly, this was one of the few games I actually found myself playing constantly. And I mean constantly, because Double Dash is one of the most interesting ones. Especially considering how you have two racers racing in tandem, and basically just, it's kind of exciting to see how much, chaos can be done. And either way, I found myself having complete and utter fun with it. Plus, if you hadn't guessed, some of my favorites are from Double Dash, so not as much as 8 Deluxe, but still some of my favorites like Wario Coliseum and, Baby Park are on that list and are in this game, so I finally got a chance to experience them a lot. So, yeah. And you know I'm going to do some more Mario Kart ones in the near future, so keep an eye on that. This will be continued in part 2. Stay tuned.